स्वती नमस्तभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम. Yes, can someone recollect what is it that we have seen last? Yes, please, anybody. Anybody. We have to form the link so we can go ahead. Please feel free to unmute. Yes, Chaitanya ji. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we started with the first slok of Gita, where we saw how Dhritarashtra was biased towards his own sons when he
Mhm.
referred to Pandav and my Kauravas. We also saw how ego or arrogantly Duryodhana was talking even to his gurus, and Arjun had little bit of arrogance when he asked Krishna to take the chariot to the center of the battlefield and look at the uh, to look at the opposition. And yeah, I mean, we also saw there was some guilt, even in the even guilt or insecurity, or even Duryodhana was not completely confident if he was going to win, even he was having the larger army. So yeah, we saw different aspects of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, ji. So Chaitanya ji is rightly said. So the battle was going to start. Arjuna was ready. He was confident, maybe slightly overconfident, or we do not know. He was telling Krishna, my chariot here, take my chariot to the center. I want to mark my opponents. As far as Duryodhana, if you can say, if Arjuna did 1% wrong or 10% wrong, Duryodhana appeared 100% wrong because he was arrogantly ordering his elders, all of them, with the Krupacharya, there was everybody, even Bhishma. He was saying Bhishma did not need any support. Chandresh ji, namaste sir. Do you want to add something, sir?
नमस्ते. No, no.
All right, sir. Ji sir. Okay. Hari Om.
Hari.
So yes,
Hari
Bhishma
Om.
didn't need Hari Om ji. Bhishma did not need any support at all. But Krishna is, Duryodhana is giving this single order to all his Kauravan army folks. You have to guard and protect Bhishma, whatever happens. And probably that is what it makes vulnerable also. Arjuna, though, do we see cowardice in Arjuna at the moment? Is there fear anywhere? Or he is like, yes, please. Chaitanya ji is saying something.
Not
Yes,
till now.
not till now. So there's no cowardice. So we say his Kshatriya Dharma. What is, he knows what his Kshatriya Dharma is. It is to fight. Anybody can tell me what is the Dharma of Kshatriya? Yes,
Fight whatever the situation is.
fight whatever the situation is. So it means that includes fighting with weapons, isn't it? And ending lives of the opponents in a battlefield, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it the same as cold-blooded murder?
No.
No, isn't it?
No.
When our soldiers, yes, when our soldiers are fighting for us at the battlefield, they're not the same as murderers who are doing it for just for wealth or some other aspect. It is a dharma. It is as important as a surgeon operating and killing certain cancerous cells in the body. So this is not murder. So we know this. Arjuna is also confident. He says, I want to see the alliance of well-wishers who have combined to join the false cause of Duryodhana. So he knows his guru is there. He knows all of them. But you can say somewhere his Viveka is not yet lost. That is clear. It's clear who his opponent is. And then Krishna has taken the chariot and he says, see, these are your opponents. And that is where we stopped. Let us begin. We still continue from the 26th shloka of the Bhagavad Gita. तत्रापश्यत् स्थितान् पार्थः पितॄनथ पितामहान् आचार्यान् मातुलान् भ्रातॄन् पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखींस्तथा. Thus present there, Arjuna watched all his foes, his own uncles and grandfathers who were close, teachers and relatives, and his dearest brothers. children, nephews, and friends among elders. अरे ये तो बारात में नहीं गया है, but full family is present. And where are they present? They are present on the opposite side of the battlefield. And then he turns back. So on the front he is seeing here, and behind Shushuran Suhrudaschaiva Senayoru Bhayor Tan Samiksha Sakaunteya Sarvan Bandhun Avasthitan, and his most beloved ones and in-laws too. In both armies he saw, as he stood between the two. Arjuna noticed all those gathered to war, every one of them who had come to spar. So in front and in the back, there's a frying pan here, there's a fire there, because now suddenly he sees all of this and he says, these are not my enemies, this is my family. And in the front and in the back, slowly what happens then? Emotions start overwhelming Arjuna. This is where it starts. Krupaya paraya vishtu vishidan nidam abravit. Arjuna uvacha दृष्ट्वेवं स्वजनं कृष्ण युत्सं samupasthitam. Despondent, overcome by compassion, a distraught Arjuna spoke in this fashion. O Krishna, my own kin stand here in my sight, all together and filled with a desire to fight. Are emotions wrong? My first question is this. Are emotions wrong? Should we not have any emotions? Should we be like stones? Is that what the Gita is trying to teach us?
No.
No, isn't it? Emotions are not wrong. So we should feel compassion, compassion for all. But can you feel compassion for the terrorist?
No.
We call it misplaced compassion, isn't it? So emotions. Yes, Renuji is adding something. Yes, Ji. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we are. Emotions and feelings, they are two different things.
Ha. Okay. So already that is very nicely said. So we'll have to see now whether Arjuna is going to, like a swan, separate this milk and water, or it's going to mix. So let us see. Krishna, my own kin stand here in my sight all together with a desire to fight. Siddhanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishishyati depatushcha sharire me roma harshashcha jayati. Watching them, my heart gives a cold sigh and my throat feels all so parched and dry. Down my spine now runs a shiver that makes my whole body shudder. It will look like it's a child saying, I do not want to go to school, giving some excuse. No, no, I'm having fever, I'm not feeling well. That we can understand. But here it is our Parantapa, Gudakesha, Arjuna, Dhananjaya, so many names. This is a master warrior who has fought several battles. And like his name, Parantapa, harasser of enemies. One Arjuna was enough to fight an army of people. That was his skill, and people knew him for that. But today we see suddenly, he says, my heart is giving a sigh. My throat feels also parched and dry. Down my spine now runs a shiver that makes my whole body shudder. We were having a discussion of the first adhyay with a lot of friends from the medical fraternity. They said, नहीं, इसको तो अभी केस बनानी पड़ेगी. He is having anxiety. He is having sudden last minute, he has developed anxiety and this is going to go to borderline depression if you don't treat it. So they would have even started off treatment for him. Well, that is the same thing here. Arjuna is feeling all of this. So what we see is there's a psychosomatic link, isn't it? In our body. Do we agree? Everybody? Yes?
Yep.
Somebody from medical field, anybody would like to confirm?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Tanviji. How do you say that link is there? Just in a maybe line or two? And Dr. Atulji also. Yes, yes, please. Yes, ji?
So
Is
many a
mind over
times.
body. Sorry, please go. I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. It is mind over body. See,
Ji,
our
sir.
body behaves what goes on in our mind. So that is very important. That is why, our thoughts are very important. We should always watch our thoughts and should have a control over what is going on.
Yes, sir. Dr. Atulji and Dr. Tanviji also is agreeing. Yes, all right. So this aspect, Arjuna's thoughts are now wavering because probably he is getting flashback of memories. He's remembering Dronacharya as a child, as he was a child. The first time he held the dhanu in his hand, Dronacharya had taught him how to fight, and now he's standing on the opposite side. Many people say, I can fight all the opponents in the world, but not my family. Have you heard that dialogue? Because that is my weakness. I cannot. Well, a great Arjuna, he is also going through something very similar. Now, one more thing is, it was not breaking news for Arjuna. He knew it. They already had a strategy to counter the moves of the best in the Kauravan army. Dronacharya will do this, so we will be ready for this. Pitama Bhishma is going to really attack. He's going to be a juggernaut when he starts. So we'll have to counter. So all these factors were known. But right in this time of action, at the moment of action, there's a flux of emotions. These emotions overwhelm Arjuna. And he's saying, my throat has become dry. I'm feeling suddenly parched. And it's like a shiver is running down my spine. This happens, isn't it? We are prepared for situations and then suddenly life throws something. It's like you get a punch in the solar plexus only. You can't move at all. When I was very, very young, I was not very sure if I had much of, God's name or japa inside of me at all. So my father had asked me to go and check the tank. Is there water? So I quickly went climbing up the big ladder. So everything went well. Ah, yes, there is water. I shouted from the top, and he was happy. All of it. The time came to come down. Ram, 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 ram started because I have no idea that what's going to happen. And as I was looking, the height was so much, and I myself never knew. That was how my hands also. It was quite a risky thing that time because if emotions take control of you, you lose all your skill also. Whatever your talent is there, your thinking also gets marred. And that is why it is said never take a decision in a fit of emotions. It is most likely to be a wrong decision. So let us continue. Arjuna is going through a full series of emotions right now. He says, गाण्डीवं स्रंसते हस्तात् त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते न शक्नोम्यवस्थातुं भ्रमतीव च मे मनः. From my hands slips the Gandiva bow, and my skin seems on fire now. My mind and head are spinning round. Impossible it is for me to even stand ground. This Gandiva Dhanusha is slipping from my hand. For a soldier, the weapon is everything. Sometimes, in battle, hands are cut. These cut hands fall with a weapon in the hand only. The weapon is never, it's like it is never left by a soldier at all times. Many times in the sleep also, they keep the weapon next to them. And this is a divine bow which he has received. But Arjuna feels, no. He says, yes. Anybody wishes to share something? No, let's continue. So, and then my skin seems on fire now. Did he suddenly catch infection? Fever? No, it is not. It is just emotions which are now manifesting this way inside of him. So, and then my mind and head are spinning around. Impossible it is for me to even stand ground. So the emotions are to such an extent that he can't even stand straight. He can't forget thinking straight. He's not even able to physically stand, he says. Anybody, do you think this is unjustified or it's natural aspect, what Arjuna is feeling through?
It's natural, considering the situation he is in right now.
Ji. All right. Dr. Tanvi says natural. Renuji? Yes, ji?
Yes, I agree. Because of his attachments with his kin's relatives.
All
So
right.
this is pretty much natural.
Yes. But it's not the ideal situation for him, isn't it? To have this right now, maybe before the battle or after the battle, not during the battle. The same thing. That is why even during operations, a doctor is asked if he is having any relation with the patient, that person is asked not to operate. because no matter how many surgeries that surgeon may have performed with perfect precision, if it is someone close in family member, there's a flux of emotions. The person will remember while the operation is being done, all the emotions. My friend who is a colorectal surgeon in the UK, he told me that when we talk to people, he said, when we talk to the patients also, I just do out of formality, but I don't really try to develop any bond. I asked him, why is that? He said, no, if I develop a bond with the patient, even if I don't know the person, while I'm operating, that bond will come in between. I'll feel a little bit of worry and what will happen. So this is so important sometimes to keep our emotions aside. Arjuna is right now in a difficult situation. We can't blame him. We are in the comforts of our home. We are not in Kurukshetra. We do not have this kind of situation where there's not a choice, isn't it? This is not something anybody aspired for. Life has put him into this position, and now he has to face it, whether he is going to overcome it, or it will break him. Let us see. Now comes Arjuna's interesting line of argument. Because all this that Krishna is saying, normally what will happen? Somebody will, ah, nahi, theek hai, quiet, all right, all right. No, Krishna doesn't say anything. He is silent. And it is a conscious silence that Krishna is maintaining while Arjuna is speaking. Since Krishna is understanding there is no Satya in all this. This is Asat which is speaking through Arjuna, and so he is quiet. So now first is this reason did not work out. The physical excuse did not work out. Now comes the next. He becomes a sort of a Nostradamus. He says, Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava nata shreyo nupashyami hatva swajanamahave. Even all the signs that I observe, oh Krishna, they seem so adverse. I see absolutely no fame or pride in killing anyone on either side. He says, he calls it swajana, murder of his people. Hatva swajana mahave. He says, I do not want to murder my own people. Just a moment ago, we discussed it's not murder when a Kshatriya is fighting. He is performing his duty. That's not the same as murder, but he is, equating it with murder. And he says, I don't see, and I see only negative signs. I think we must have heard, today I'm not going to work. I saw a black cat. Now, whether it is right or whether it is wrong or whether this person does not want to go to work, that is a big question that we have to only introspect. But this is what Arjuna is saying, and Krishna is silently listening. He says, Krishna, I don't see any pride or fame in killing anyone, both sides. So he's like, I am on both sides already. I don't feel anything about this. He goes on further. न कांक्षे विजयम कृष्ण न च राज्यम सुखानि च किं नो राज्येन गोविंद किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा. Oh Krishna, I desire not a victory, not the comforts of a territory. Any kingdom or lordship acquired in this way, would it not be a waste? What else of it can I say? I don't need to win against these people. Why? Why do I need to beat them? Why? Why do I need a victory? I don't need any kingdom also. What's the use of winning a kingdom also? He's now questioning the entire purpose of the war. Because there is no meaning. I don't find any reason or rhyme in continuing this action at all. The loss of purpose also has started taking place inside of him. It's a waste. He declares it's a waste. Means the outcome of the entire action is going to be a waste only, whether I win or whether I lose. Why? He explains further. Now it looks like he's trying to, trigger Krishna into speaking something, but our Krishna is quiet. He's not yet said a word. And he goes on, he says, Yesham arthe kangshitam no rajyam bhogaha sukhani cha ta ime vasthita yuddhe pranam tyaktva dhanani cha. He says, my dearest ones, for whose very sake this kingly comforts I desire, with their lives and wealth at stake, they stand here in the line of fire. This is for my children, for my family. I have done all this all my life. My life has been for this only. I've been living my life this way. But see what has happened right now. They are standing in the line of fire and they are going to lose everything, not just the wealth, even their lives. It looks like that. What is all of this? I don't like it. Krishna is what he's saying. He goes on further. He says, Acharyaha pitaraha putras tathaiva cha pitamaha matulaha shvashuraha pautraha shalaha sambandhinas. My teachers, brothers, and my children, nephews, in-laws, and grandchildren, my elders, and likewise grandfathers, and many other family members. Okay, Arjuna has fought so many battles, but not like this. With his own people. This is the first time he might have seen a few people on the other side, someone who's gone on the wrong side. It happens, all that is understandable. But right now, it is his entire family that is fighting. And both sides, this side also, that side also. Like what they call a catch-22 situation. Not knowing which side. If I go here also it's a problem, there also it's a problem. He goes on further. एतान् हन्तुमिच्छामि घ्नतोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतोः किं न मही कृते. Oh Krishna, to kill them I desire not. Such a crime in life I have never sought. Not for rolling the three reams of the earth. Surely, is such a lordship any worth? He says, I do not want this. This is never a desire, he says, of mine. He calls it a crime. He says, the murder. I do not want to do murder. I don't want to get, probably arrested under certain section if I take part in this battle, is what he is feeling. He goes on, not for ruling the three realms of the earth. I don't want even the Trilokya Rajya. Even if it is served to me on a platter, the three lokas also I do not want to take. My one question is anybody giving him even one of the three lokas right now? Is anybody giving him even? Actually, Duryodhana said, I won't give a needle tip. But look at his thinking. Even Trilokya Raja, I get, nobody is giving him that. But he says, no, this is murder. I don't want to engage in murder. I don't want to be this murderer. I don't want to be killer. He goes on further. It's really something that it is so common. I actually had a chance. Hariom. Yes, Renuji. Yes, please. Yeah.
Not
Please tell
able
me.
to hear you, brother.
Everybody is having that trouble? I think your audio, you can just reconnect it, Renuji. So, yes, so this is not murder at all. I would like to re-emphasize again, especially for a soldier when he's performing duty. I had a good fortune of meeting somebody who has killed 42 people serving the armed forces. No, he's going to be visiting today. I'm going to get a chance to meet him again. But I did not even know about this side of life. For me, he looked like a very ordinary person and very, normal family person. It looks like that, no? Because and when I told him, how is it normally even one person will transform, even if it's a terrorist, is going to make you heartless. But you, I have seen your daughter touch your head and play with you like you're just one harmless person. And you say you have killed 42. He said, no, that's what, when we are in line of duty, it comes and we don't really think much of it. He said, we even had breakfast next to the slain terrorist. I was like, what is this? Well, that is what a Kshatriya does. A Kshatriya is clear in the duty because it is required. The Kshatriya's duty is necessary. You send me there on the border, I'll write poetry, and what's going to happen? Terrorist will, what will the terrorist do? I got a change of heart. Now I'll never fight. So it's not going to work. You need the Kshatriya there. And that is what Arjuna is doing right now. But we see no. Arjuna is going lower and lower in his consciousness as his emotions take control of him. He's not understanding it, but it's happening. He goes on further. You just see next, how does he say? One is he's talking about Trilokya. Now he calls this. He says, Nihitya dhatrashtraannaha ka pritihi syat janardana papameva shraye dasman hatvaitan atatayinaha. Oh Krishna, by killing Dhritarashtra's sons, what happiness is there for me to gain? I will only suffer for my sins with pain, for murdering these impetuous ones. What is it? These are children of Dhritarashtra. Now they are suddenly appearing like children of his uncle Dhritarashtra. Then later on they'll appear like his brothers. What has happened? Has he forgotten that these ones tried to kill him right from his childhood? So many times, so many plots were made. One moment, if he remembered, had a smruti of what was done to Draupadi. Kshatriya Dharma would have again arisen. He would never, this is not tolerable, it is wrong. But now what has happened? The emotions have made him forget. So one more disadvantage of emotions is Vismruti. We forget. We forget. And the Upanishads talk about remembering some truths which we still don't know yet. Krito smara, kritam smara. So remember the great deeds you have done, not just this life, the life before also. That's what the Upanishad talks about. But here, the emotions have made him forget it completely. He goes on further. He says, Tasma narha vayam hantum dhatharashtran swabandhavan swajanam hi katam hatva sakhinah syama madhava. Oh Krishna, it does not seem fit. What satisfaction will I thus merit? Waging war against them, what can I win? For I shall be killing my own kin. He says, my own brothers. Swabandhavan. He is calling the children of Dhritarashtra his own bandhavs, his own brothers. Now, compassion is good. Compassion is required. The Gita talks about karuna and so many other important. It actually talks about having no hatred for anybody at all. Love, universal. But there is something called misplaced compassion. And this is actually wrong in Arjuna's side. It is in misplaced direction. He says, what will I gain? I will be killing my own people, he says. Yadyapyete, immediately, probably Krishna rolled his eyes when Arjuna said this because he had to immediately clarify in the next shloka. He says, Yadyapyete na pashyanti lobho pahata chetasa kulakshaya kritam dosham mitra drohe cha bhatakam. Even if they don't in this way perceive or see, immediately he says, even if they don't think like that, that I am their brother, but I think they are my brothers, he says. So he's probably on a high moral ground. That is what he's trying to show. Even if they don't in this way perceive or see, however corrupt their greedy minds may be. So he wants to call them greedy and everything, but they are my brothers. That is all he wants to hold on to. However corrupt their greedy minds may be, the worst of sins is anchored from this felony that is acquired from the carnage of friends and family. So first he called it only murder. Then he tried to increase that. He says murder of family, swajana hatya. That also he goes on to one more, mitra droha. Well, again, against friendship. The spirit of friendship is something which is sacred, isn't it? Friendship is something which is very important. And here he says, I am now doing mitra droha, which is even worse according to him. Arjuna says this is the worst of the worst. He goes on further, Katham na jnayamasmabhihi papadasman nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyadbhir janardhana. He goes on, why shouldn't I think in this manner? To escape from a sin I wish not to incur. For this terrible sin of killing one's own, to us, its consequences are already known. Why shouldn't I think this way, Krishna? I want to escape from this sin. Why I shouldn't think this way? We know it, isn't it? What happens when you kill your own family, your own... It is the worst. You will suffer badly. Arjuna was having compassion for everybody, isn't it right now? Misplaced maybe, but feeling for everybody. Now what is he talking about? Is he talking about everybody or is he talking about himself?
These are his emotions.
His emotions. I want to escape from sin. Maybe everybody will get the consequences of that sin, but I want to escape. So he says, why shouldn't I think? So the individual has become much, much more important. Under the garb of emotions for everybody, the individual emotions are given so much more important than what is right. That is why it is said Shreyas, Preyas. Always we have to identify what is desirable and what is right. Yes, I desire world oneness and everything. But right now, is there oneness in the world? Should I just run after desire? Or I should work towards it? Well, I need to work towards it. That is what is the need. So one is the desire, one is the need. So right now, Arjuna's emotions are just making him, one more thing, it shows that when we get emotional, it is a sign and indication of aham bhava only. And Arjuna is right now supposedly caring for everybody, but it is himself that is first most important for him. If Arjuna left this battle and ran away, and Krishna had also this, okay, ठीक है, चलो, वहाँ जाके अच्छा, you can go, there's nice, you can have your kachori samosa there, forget this battle, leave this. What would have happened to the people in the Pandavan side? How many people joined? How many people readily, sacrificed? It's like the captain only says, no, I am not going to play today in the most important moment of the competition. It's something like that. But here, when emotions take control, you lose your viveka also. Arjuna is a perfect example in the first adhyaya. He says, we know the consequences. He goes on further explaining. He says, Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharmaha sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo bhi bhavatyuta. The act of killing of one's own clan destroys our ancient ethical code of man. And when the ethics of man are annihilated in his posterity, the sin is proliferated. So he says, this sin which I will get now, it will be passed on, like genetic transfer. It will go on in the next generations also, he says. And there's nothing worse than breaking the ethics of man. It's not really that, but you see what happens, we give very good justifications right now. Our Krishna is being given the best. We say devil's advocate, when this devil has become the advocate right now for Arjuna, and he is speaking. Absolutely. He says this is destroying the ancient code, and this will cause this sin to get proliferated in the next generation also. You can see Bhaya is being used. He's trying to, this fear, this will happen. This is all lower emotions. We don't need all of them, but Arjuna is invoking all of them right now. He goes on further. Adharma bhibha vrut adharma bhibha vat Krishna pradushanti kulastriyaha strishu dushtasu varshneya jayate varna sankaraha. This is a very interesting shloka because this is wrongly quoted. Gita is called a Pramana Shastra. We studied in the first day. Pramana Shastra meaning the Shastra that is the evidence. All the Vedantic schools. Dr. Sarupaji wants to say something?
No, sorry.
All right, no problem. Fine. Yeah. So Pramana Shastra is the Shastra of evidence. Means words of the Gita can be considered as perfect, which it is like a best reviewed medical journal when we quote them. It's like, yeah, this is less likely to have a mistake here, something like that. But here it is infallible. But is Arjuna Pramana right now? Is Arjuna speaking what he is speaking on the basis of truth consciousness? Or it is emotion speaking right now for Arjuna? Anyone? Is Arjuna speaking in the truth consciousness right now?
No, these are just
Emotions.
emotions.
No, isn't it? It's emotions. So can Arjuna's words also be considered pramana just because they're in the Gita? No, isn't it?
No.
All right. Yes, I'm glad we're all on the same ground because my friend's father prevented him from getting married to somebody quoting Bhagavad Gita has told that, and he quoted this shloka of the Gita, and my friend was very angry with Krishna and the Gita, and subsequently me also for spreading it. And when he told me, I asked what happened. He said, no, Gita only prevented me from getting married. I said, sorry, what happened? He said, this shloka is there where you should not marry somebody from another varna or some other. It is like that. I said, hey, there's nothing like that in the Gita. No, it is there. Did you ask your father which shloka? He said, no, I did not. Then I said, he must have used this shloka only and tell him this is not the correct shloka at all to be called a pramana. And he did have an interesting discussion afterwards. But let us come back. So here Arjuna is telling, oh Krishna, in a household that is sinned, the women members only suffering you find. And when women are afflicted, the balance of society is affected. Some people have interpreted Varna Sankara as an intermingling of caste, means people should not get married from one caste to another. Actually, caste system was never there that way. It is something which was introduced afterwards. If you see, we have different. Who is Vyasa? Anybody? The compiler of the great epic of Mahabharata. He's also called Vedavyasa. So he was born in which household? Who was his mother? Anybody?
Vedavati.
Yes, yes.
Vedavati?
Yes, she was. What was the profession? What were they doing in the house?
Fisherman.
Ha, isn't it? So now we consider him as the avatar of Krishna only for the brilliant work that he has done. We respect so much. So there is nothing like that. But the wrong interpretations keep going on. So this sloka is actually Arjuna trying out and trying to find an excuse to run away from the battle. He says, no, 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 this will lead to an imbalance. Like he said, the codes of ethics of man will get violated. Here he's saying families will get destroyed. To one extent, he's correct because the war would take place and destroy families, isn't it? That is one part which is correct. But otherwise, it is not. It is just the emotion speaking. He's trying to develop a narrative which is not fully grounded in the truth. Maybe there's a mix of that is sometimes more dangerous. A little bit of falsehood, a little bit of truth. So let us continue. He goes on further. He says the woman member will suffer, and then when the women are affected, the society will also get destroyed, is what he is saying. So now he is caring for his brothers, he is caring for his future generation that they don't get the sin. He is now caring for the society. Let us see who else he is caring for right now. Sankaro narakayaiva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro yesham luptapindo dakakriyaha. So he is now caring for the pitars also. He is showing that in the lives of such sinners only hell descends, and to their families too it extends. Even those who receive the libations and rise, the ancestors fall in stature even after their demise. So whatever Shraddha Kriyas were done for the Shanti of the Pitar, for the Ashirvad of the Pitar, that also will get wasted. Who knows, Pitar may be in the Chandralok, and according to Arjuna, suddenly gravity will start functioning from Chandralok, they'll have to come back because he feels they will lose their Shanti. But it's not the case right now. Arjuna has not experienced what Naraka is. Has he got a conscious? He's just visualizing. This is not Garud Purana, which he is referring and talking right now. He is speaking according to his own thoughts, or more likely, he's speaking because of his emotions. So now he's caring for even the pitars who have attained Shanti. He says that Shanti will become Bhanga, the entire family will suffer. He goes on further. He says, Doshairetaihi kulagnanam varna sankara karakaihi utsadante jati dharmaha kuladharmashta shashvataha. These sinners and destroyers of families bring forth to the society loss and tragedies. So these tragedies will take place. Now he's caring for nature also, because he says the earthquakes will take place, climate change, so many things will take place if this goes on. These sinners and destroyers of family bring forth to society loss and tragedies by destroying the ancient code of the human race. They break families and spread disgrace. He goes on further. Utsanna kuladharmanam manushyanam janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavatitya nushruma. Those whose code of duty is vanquished, the fates of such men are sealed and finished. They are doomed for eternity to dwell and suffer for their actions in the realms of hell. So he's talking further about Naraka with reference. He's saying confirmation. These people will suffer in hell only. I know it, he says. But my question is, are we in a battlefield listening to a warrior, or we are listening to somebody who is having a lot of paranoia right now and is giving a speech? What does it look like? Does it look like a warrior? Is Arjuna speaking the tongue of a Kshatriya? Anybody?
No, he is
No.
completely delusional, right?
Why do you think he is doing that, Dr. Tanviji?
It is his emotions that have taken over.
So we know what does he want. What does he want right now at this moment?
Right now, he doesn't want to fight the war.
Battle. So he
He
wants to
wants to run
escape.
away.
I think he
Okay.
just wants Krishna to say once, yes, you are right, and then he will
Yeah.
simply run away.
Yes, yes. So he's trying to put the words in Krishna's mouth because he has that Shraddha in Krishna. So until Krishna says, he will not do it. But
So he's
many
convincing
times
Krishna.
he's trying to convince Krishna. Ki, no, no. I think this we also do in different moments of life also, isn't it? We want a particular outcome, but it's not happening. So we try to create an atmosphere with a mahol banana. We make it exactly like that. No need to go to college today. There's nothing. Today there's just one session only. You just parents will sometimes feel, yeah, what a nice thing, and then they find out. One friend of mine, he bunked his exam only. Said, I don't want to sit in the exam. I'll get scoldings. Better getting scoldings for not writing than getting very low marks. I was very surprised by his confidence that he is going to get low marks, that he would not even make an attempt. But this is what is happening right now. Arjuna is trying to convince Krishna, but unfortunately, it doesn't look very successful. He started with my mind is spinning, my ganti were bored. Normally, a Kshatriya, everybody would have, emotions are generally counteracted with emotions. That is why problems happen. One person gets emotional, speaks something, the second person responds again on the emotional plane. It is like you're adding oil to a already burning fire. It's adding more fuel to it. But Krishna is now absolutely detached. But does he not care? That we will see. But right now, he is stoic, a complete silence. Arjuna is trying different ways. Then he's giving tarka because he knows Krishna is always on the side of justice, and he says he's trying to show that it's just to run away from the battle. This did not succeed. Now what does he do? He takes it to the highest stage. He blames Krishna only. The savior is the one who is being blamed. Something like that. There is a beautiful line in Sri Aurobindo's Savitri. His enemies are the ones he came to save. Well, Krishna has come to save, and now, because of the wrong consciousness inside of Arjuna, Arjuna is going to blame Krishna himself. He's going to say, he says, Aho bata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam. He's including them or him also in that group. Yadraja sukhalobhena antum swajana mudyataha. How did we agree to commit this sin? Just for the kingly comforts we desired to win. Our own clan did we seek to kill. Alas, this terrible feat, why did we will? So Krishna, were we greedy for wealth? Who is he asking? The great Yadav emperor who has a great Narayani Sena. Anything he wishes, he doesn't need the Sena also to go that powerful he himself is. But look at it. This savior is only being blamed. Have we any time felt that? I go to help my friend. I have gone with a very good intention. In the end, it's falling on me only. Has anybody experienced like that in life?
Yes,
Yes?
yes,
Yes. So what happens that time, Renuji, when you hear that? Creates a shock, isn't it?
yes. Terrible shock, and I felt the pain within myself.
Yes. It's like you too, Brutus. What
You
is
too.
this you have?
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is what Krishna somehow Arjuna is trying to trigger Krishna. ये तो देख ही नहीं कुछ बोल ही नहीं रहे. What is this? So he goes on. He says this line also. He says, "Did we have greed? There cannot be a worse insult than this to the charioteer, to the Sarathi, who has no greed at all, to the one who has taken a pledge of not wielding a weapon, to the one who has given even his army to the other side." But this is why we call lower consciousness in the what we can say classic state. What happens? It masks the truth and it distorts the truth. So look at the distortion Arjuna is making right now. This is the only time we can say in the Gita Arjuna doesn't look so good. Everywhere else, everybody loves Arjuna, but here, no, not here actually. He's attacking Krishna. But Krishna is still not going to speak. He's still quiet because probably there is some more pressure inside of this pressure cooker. He's waiting for that to come out. He lets him continue. He says, यदि माम यदि माम प्रतिकारम अशस्त्रम शस्त्र पाणयः धार्तराष्ट्रा रणे हन्युः तन्मे क्षेमतरम भवेत्. If I face their armies unarmed and by Kauravan weapons, I am killed, I would still retain some glory by allowing them to claim a victory. Because if I just go like that, this is what we can say absolute. In depression, we've seen a suicidal tendency inside of Arjuna right now. You see the emotions going lower, 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 lower to this point where he says, it's okay, I just drop my weapons, go, and I just stand in front of the Kauravan army and I get killed. He says, I'll still retain some glory by allowing them to claim victory. This is his line of thought. All right. But will any glory come to Arjuna by this action? Has any warrior been praised in history for this? No, not at all, not at all. This is something which Arjuna is absolutely having a wrong thought, but he has now reached what we can say the lowest point right now, and he says, Nahi. He has forgotten Abhimanyu right now, his son. Has he forgotten Draupadi? Has he forgot all the Pandavas? Has he forgotten what is the why everybody have joined the Pandavan side despite being outnumbered? Yes or no? So
I
what
think
is
he
he
has
thinking of?
forgotten the whole purpose why he's fighting this war. So
Yes,
when he said that maybe am I doing it for the kingdom or for money, or I mean to get all the pleasures, it's not that. That's the reason why he's having this all of these thoughts actually.
yes, yes. And it is his personal self which has become so much more important that though he pretends that he's caring for everybody, he's caring for the Pitas, he's caring for everybody. In the practicality, what's happening? Is actually putting them in a greater danger by these actions. And this is what is a big problem, which is a case of dire ego leading to depression. Individual self is so, so important that he's forgotten everybody else and everything. And that is a great problem right now. And Krishna has to now do a very big surgery. But again, surgery will not start without patient consent, isn't it? So Arjuna has not yet given. So Krishna will not start. Let us see. Sanjay Uvacha. एवमुक्त्वार्जुनः सङ्ख्ये रतोपस्थ उपाविशत् विसृज्य सशरं चापं शोकसंविघ्नमानसः. Sanjay spoke. After saying so, Arjuna amidst the warfield, his bow and arrows he refused to wield. He dropped down onto his chariot seat. In delusion, he had already accepted defeat. So, battle is already over for Arjuna at this moment. When the battle on the inside is lost, everything is lost. And here, Arjuna, before the first arrow is fired, his emotions have defeated him. So sometimes more than the enemy outside. Where is the enemy? The enemy within. That where enemy within should not be allowed to overpower us right now. This is the case of Arjuna. The first adhyaya ends in the depression of Arjuna. It starts, this is beautiful because Gita begins with depression only. And then there is the transformation and finally liberation also. So this is the beginning of the Gita here. We will just have a few words of the next 2-3 shlokas because it will always be nice to see Krishna's words. They start in the second adhyaya. So this is the first adhyaya. Arjuna did a lot of wrong things, but he did one right thing. Can someone tell me what it is? Yes, please. One right thing that he did.
He told his grief to Krishna.
Yes, yes. So this is one right thing that though he is having going through all of it in the Children's Krishna's Better project, this is the first lesson that we give in the chapter 1. When you do not know, when you are not able to solve, when you are overwhelmed with emotions, don't hesitate to ask a friend, an elder, or a teacher. One participant shared, one mother shared her experience that her son sent a message during the COVID time, help me. And she says that was such an important message for her. And she says that is why I say your project is very successful. Because you see, my child did this and told me this, and that was where my bonding began. And look at Arjuna's case. His Sarathi is his friend, his elder, and soon to be his teacher also. His guru, he has learned a lot from him, but he has not yet seen him as in the guru's sthana. But now Arjuna's Shraddha will have to change or will have to improve or we'll have to rise for him to see the words of Krishna. We enter with the second adhyaya, we'll start off. So the one message that we do want to highlight is it is not wrong to ask for help. Children easily ask for help. Adults don't. हम बड़े हैं, हम पूछ नहीं सकते. And where to ask for help is also important. If you go and ask Duryodhana, give me advice, what's going to happen? You say, no, no, no. ऐसे मत, don't leave your bow and arrow just like that. Shoot a few more people on your side and then come to me. That's what Duryodhana would have done. So the person, the Shraddha Sthan is also important. It can be a friend, can be somebody you trust a lot, a trusted friend, an elder, or a younger person also, as Kalidasa, Dharma Vruddheshu Vaya na Samikshate. Age is not a factor, but your trust should be there. Or the Guru, or if Guru is not there, at least in Aradhya, you should have the trust. So that one place, the Shraddha Sthan must be firm. So this is one message or lesson we can learn from the first Adhyaya. Remaining things we can learn what not to do. Do not be like Arjuna. That is one important aspect. Don't let your emotions make you forget what is right and what is wrong. So this is, I think Dhritarashtra is very, very happy right now. Ki wah wah, kya baat hai. It's wonderful. Looks like my son will finally win. But Sanjay has this bad habit of interrupting his emotions. Like in the first Adhyaya, Shankhnath was going on very nicely. He says, wait, I see the beautiful chariot of our Madhava along with Arjuna. And then he talks about the conscious. So like that, he continues here. He says, Dvitiya Adhyaya, we begin. We'll look at three shlokas and stop. Sanjay Uvacha Tam Tatha Kripaya Vishtam Ashrupurna Kulekshanam Vishidanta Midam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudana. Sanjay spoke to Arjuna, who was thus depressed, sorrowful, distraught, and distressed, teary-eyed, remorseful, and devoid of hope. The following words Krishna spoke. You see, Sanjay is calling Krishna here as Madhusudana. Each of Krishna's name has a beautiful meaning. If you see Vishnu Sahasranam, all the Sahasra names have their purpose. If there's a smaller version called Shodasha Nama of the Vishnu. So in that, Sankate Madhusudanam, Sridharam Priya Sangame. Sridhar is when you are in the company of your dear friend. But in the danger situation, remember Vishnu as Madhusudana. Shayane Padmanabham. While going to sleep, remember Padmanabha. So you will get experience of Yoga Nidra then, if you are able to connect with his consciousness. So each of these names, the Swapne Smara Govinda, when you have a nightmare and you wake up with a sudden shock, it's all right, go connect with that. So here we see now to Madhusudana, Arjuna, who was distraught. He's distraught, depressed, full of, his eyes were teary right now. And to that, Arjuna, Krishna is speaking. Is Krishna also suddenly feeling compassion for his loved one? Because he loves Arjuna. That is why he has become his Sarathi. There's no doubt about that. But right now, his loved one is doing wrong. And Krishna will never encourage that which is wrong. So he has to now play a role. His words are neutral at the moment. Neutral like an elder, a wise elder speaking, but not letting anything come out and is not even reaffirming anything. Not even one. Sometimes giving a reaffirmation is a problem when somebody is on the wrong path. You reaffirm a person on the wrong path, that person will continue going there. Sometimes parents don't scold their children because, no, it's all right. Then afterwards, the children get in trouble and then they blame the parents. You did not scold me that time. Why? That's not right. That also isn't correct. But this aspect, Krishna is absolutely quiet and neutral here. He says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupasthitam Anaryam Ajushtam Aswargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. Arjuna, from where has this delusion so untimely within you arisen? This behavior doesn't behove brave hearts, seekers of heaven, of fame, nor stalwarts. This is untimely. He says, from where did this come to you? So wrongly it has come. This delusion. There's a desha, there's a kala, there's a time, the place of utterance of certain things. All that you have forgotten, all of it. It's out of context, he says. Where has this come? Means he's telling Arjuna, this is not Arjuna speaking right now. See, that is so beautiful, isn't it? Many times when we get wrong thoughts, we say, I am those wrong thoughts. We associate ourselves with that wrong thought and we say we are so bad. But here Krishna is saying, no, these are forces at play in the world. From where has this force entered inside of you? This sorrow has come very wrongly. This is not worthy of somebody like you. Arjuna wanted to get a nice name. He worked hard for it. Somebody who is aspiring to do good deeds, and then a warrior is always ready to die, no? So at least is ready to go to heaven. Somebody who is aspiring for the heavens, this is not the right behavior. Then he goes on further. क्लैब्यमास्मगमः पार्थ नैतत्त्वया उपपद्यते क्षुद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्त्वोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप. We'll stop here. He says, yield not to this importance of action. This is action is only an important action, he says. It's actually an insult for a Kshatriya. He speaks in the most neutral words, but he speaks truthful words. He says, yield not to this importance of action. Many times the spirit is only gone, isn't it? Sometimes, if you see, on the spiritual path, people say, no, no, I will not fight at all. Many people say. But this is the path of the warriors. Where is when somebody does wrong, when Akrantas were invading, this happened in Bharat. Many warriors, many strong people, they ran and went into the temple and hoping Aradhya will come and intervene when the invaders were coming. Now, is that a right action or a wrong action? You have been given two hands by the divine to do certain work and you are forgetting your duty. When the strength is there, the strength has to be used. And here, Krishna is saying clearly, yield not to this importance of action, not worthy of you, is such a renunciation. This base weak-heartedness has no relevance. Give this up, stand up, O warrior of eminence. Uttishta Parantapa is what he's saying, is reminding Arjuna, you are the Parantapa, the one who has done great tapas to become the great warrior that he is. His presence harasses enemies. His presence makes armies flee. He says, Uttishta Parantapa, remember. It is required, isn't it, sometimes to be reminded of your strength. Anjaneya needed to be reminded by Jambu. You can take that leap. And here Krishna is reminding Arjuna. He says, give this up. If you want to give up something, don't give up your duty. Give up this weak-heartedness inside of you. Stand up. Stand up like the warrior you are. We all begin the day with Uttishta Govinda. We pray and ask the divine to wake up, or the consciousness of the divine in the early morning. Here the divine is telling Arjuna, Uttishta Parantapa. Does Arjuna get up? The words of Krishna, do they have an effect on Arjuna? That we will see tomorrow as we continue the second adhyay. So we will call it a date now. Can someone just summarize and brief what we have seen? After which, if anybody has any queries, they are also most welcome. Our aim is to look at the relevance from a practical point of view. That would be more important for all of us than the significance of exactly how did regarding one nice query was asked in the group about the authenticity of the Gita. Well, authenticity of the Gita has remained for so long from the beginning, and there is no questioning about that because there are no variations in that at all. Maximum variation is only in the 13th adhyay. Some places it starts with one shloka of Arjuna, in other places it starts with Krishna directly starting. So one shloka number may change, but otherwise everywhere Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is authentic, just as our Rig Veda is authentic. They have survived the time. Why? Smriti. We used to memorize. When books were burnt, memory cannot be burnt, isn't it? It was passed on. There was a big time when as Bharatiyas, we were in darkness. Our own granthas were under siege. Some people, to protect it, to keep that fire burning, no, it was a challenge. They sacrificed for it. We did not even know, at that time nobody would have even recognized them. But you see, that chain has continued. So to the question of the authenticity of the Gita, I think that I have just shared a little bit of what Sri Shyam Sundar Jhanjhanwala ji had written about the story of the Gita in the group last night. You can read it if you are interested. Shyam Sundar ji was the secretary of the mother also, and he had played a very important role in the making of Auroville, following the wish of the mother. So yes, please. Can someone summarize what we saw today, and then we'll conclude. All right, Renuji. Yes, ma'am.
Shall I ask one question, brother?
Welcome to most. Yes, yes.
When anybody is very much overwhelmed with emotions, and I can see that person,
हाँ.
and if I try to guide
Hmm.
that person, it's a very natural thing that मुझे ज्ञान मत दो.
Right. Yes.
In that situation, what shall we do?
करिष्ये वचनम तव ज्ञान मत दो.
ज्ञान मत दो.
You have,
Then
because I'll just tell you, if you see right now, Arjuna is emotional, isn't it? Sometimes all they want is lending a ear. You lend a ear because psychologically that is an important aspect. चलो क्या सुन लेते हैं. Don't start until you have been given a sanction, because you start, it becomes a problem. Unless the person has given you a sanction, because you are not authorized for that person. Your advice may be perfect, but it will not have value. That's why Krishna has not officially started Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna has not yet taken an important step. मुझे ज्ञान चाहिए तो दे सकते हैं ना. अगर आपके पास ज्ञान हो और पर सामने वाले के पास नहीं चाहिए का एटीट्यूड है, तो दे नहीं पाएंगे ना. यस जी.
so patient listening is also
Yes, yes.
uh,
If the person is very close to you, you want that person to come out of that bad. You can only pray to the divine at that moment. And like Krishna says, speak in a non-emotional manner if at all something is asked. He sat down, isn't it? He sat down. He didn't really say speak Krishna, but he just sat down and like this, so onto his chariot seat with the drooping shoulders. Then Krishna said, "Klaibhyam asmagama partha." Means he said the words very carefully. Klebya is considered important soldier. What is the meaning of that? It means that no energy. For a soldier, it's an insult. But at the same time, he reminds him, Taktvo tishta parantapa. You are a parantapa. Rise up. Uttishta. So it's a neutral way you can speak. But you will see most of the time, if the person does not want to listen, you speak in a positive way, if you speak a neutral way, even negative, it will not have any effect. It will fall on deaf ears. We have to see the moment when it comes. One mother wanted her child to read the Gita. She kept, my mother also wanted it. I did not read till the time came, my Guru's Kripa came, and then I started reading it. But this particular mother was very worried. Why my child is not studying the Gita? I want her to study the Gita. I said, Maji, just wait. You start practicing the Gita, no? You start practicing the Gita. The time will come. I was very useless when my mother was trying to tell. I even covered my ears in the most unceremonious manner. Yeah, I don't want to hear Gita right now. So that was my story. So your child will get a time that there's a moment when it has to come. Bhagavad Gita doesn't come just like that into anybody's life. And when it comes, it does not go. That's a different thing. But this mother then actually she was very anxious about her child, but she kept her anxiety aside and she continued. And she said, she just called me one day, can I talk? I want to speak, share something. I said, I'm welcome, please. So she said, "Ki today my daughter came and asked me, how did you deal with this situation in the family? Everybody was tense and frustrated. You were not. I want to know what you knew which gave you the strength to be quiet." Then she said, "बेटा ये तो गीता में लिखा है, and क्या लिखा है मुझे भी जानना है. I want to learn." And then the journey began. So I would say is yes, because you cannot do anything to change anybody else. You can change yourself. Only when a person wants help, give it. Otherwise, it's a waste. Plus, we feel like, अरे मैंने तो बता दिया उसके बाद भी नहीं किया. And it gives another negative sanskar on us only. So I think let us hope whoever you are wishing for feels the need quickly to get the right advice and come out of the difficult situation. Yes, please. Can somebody summarize it? So we'll conclude today's session. Anybody?
Sir, Arjuna saw his relatives and friends on both the sides, and he did not wanted to fight. He just wanted to run away from the battlefield, and
Ji.
he was saying all the negative things, the whatever the pitas and all he added to that.
Pitar and
Uh,
society, the
yeah,
three
society,
Var-
Sri
Varna
and all.
Sankara. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, everything he told, and he just wanted to drop his this thing,
Oh,
and he wanted to run away. And Krishna started speaking now, and he was like, this is not the way you have to behave. You're a warrior." Till that we have learned to do.
yes, 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 yes. Dr. Anvij is
So,
adding something? Yes, please.
yeah, so today we saw the grief of Arjuna, the dilemma that Arjuna was facing right in the center of the battlefield. So just like Arjuna, everybody, like every one of us, every human faces such dilemmas, uh,
Mm-hmm.
or either once or many a times in their lives.
Yes,
So yeah, so just like how Arjuna told Krishna, so everybody should ask for help and tell
yeah, yeah,
their grief to
yes,
uh,
yes.
the
Somebody they
person
trust,
they trust.
trust,
They
and
trust.
a good source. I mean, Shraddha Sthan is very important. जैसे
Important.
Guru banana जान के, पानी पीना छान के. It is something like that. Very consciously. Good place you have to keep the Shraddha. Yes, yes. Dr. Anvijay said a very important point because many times we can't choose. No, Arjuna didn't choose to ever be involved in the situation of Kurukshetra. He never ever dreamt. If he even had a thought that this would happen, I don't think he would have been the warrior he wanted to be also. Suddenly, no, 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 I never want this to happen. So he didn't have any idea. This life is also like that. Situations come very unexpectedly. We can't choose the outer circumstances which are thrown to us. Very recently, a friend of mine, my sister's very close friend, or we can say best friend, suddenly had an aneurysm in the brain. What a big shock! And suddenly she got admitted in the hospital, and it was all like, what a crazy thing, huh? Wonderful, sudden shock has come from outside. But what happens then? You can control how you react to it, which is now quickly, rapidly transformation. Though little for somebody who is a bubbling personality, even just walking again is like a hardly anything big for a general person. But no, for her now, one by one, one step at a time. And now we are seeing because of her will, the love of her family, the doctors, everybody together, she's now coming back on track. And we're all praying that it happens quickly. So life is going to throw us a lot of situations which we don't like. But we have to remember, let us do one good thing what Arjuna has done if we are not able to face the situation. Otherwise, keep our emotions aside for some time and try to do the best. So with this, we conclude with the Shanti Mantra. We will see tomorrow officially. Gita will begin, and the words of Krishna, they are so magical that each person can have their own interpretation of that in with their life. With each person, every time for me, I come to the Bhagavad Gita class for me because I get the joy of hearing new interpretations. Like now, Dr. Tanviji gave an example. Like that, everybody is going to relate to the Gita in their own way, because it is a living scripture. It has the consciousness of Kanaji, and Krishna's consciousness is the consciousness of Ananda, which is going to bring a transformation. Wherever Krishna was, it was about transformation. Sri Aurobindo too got the Krishna experience inside of a jail in Alipur. And then the transformation, what they call supramental transformation, sadhana for that, transforming the material world also began. So let us see. Let us see. One thing is there. Gita is a conscious scripture, which will, if you read it consciously, you will also become that. So we'll conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhave. Hari Om Tatsat Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. Punarmilama. See you tomorrow. Hari Om. Hare Krishna.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Jai Shri Krishna. Namaste.
Hari, Hari.
Hari
Hari Om.
Om.
Hari Om Ji.
Hare Om, sir.
Hari Om Ji. Hari Om Ji. Hari Om.
Hare Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Namaskar. Hari Om. I'll conclude the session if there are no queries. Yes.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Namaste. Yes.